Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here. We're going to tackle the topic fear versus faith and how do you grow your faith and courage muscle. There is three things I want to share with you. You can see the background says journaling on purpose. I've used journaling to grow my faith and courage muscle. Here's what I did. I have journaled off and on, usually through the dark times, because you always heard, you got to be grateful. You got to put down some grateful things. And there's some truth to that. But when you're in the middle of the storm and you try it one or two times and you think, oh man, I don't feel any better, you got to be consistent. And being consistent helps you get momentum, helps you get into the flow. So when I had a stroke 3 years ago, I had a lot of time to think because half your body's not working. You can't speak, can't eat, can't go to the bathroom, can't shower, can't play golf, can't run. Everything is different. But that's the cards that were dealt. So you got to learn how to play them. So I did a lot of thinking. Then I started, once I got out of Shepherd after 39 days, and that's heaven on earth. The people at Shepherd are just absolutely wonderful people. They care for you like you'll never be cared for because they have a heart to serve and they know the trauma you've been through and they want to help you get back to whatever normal is. And so thinking and just wanting to move. I mean, when they would come in and just prop you up just a little bit, it was like an unbelievable feeling because if you're not moving, if you're not taking action and you're stuck, like I want to just share with you on this, being stuck on the busy bus, there's nothing fun with being stuck. But we all get there. We all struggle at times. I was stuck on a bed, not being able to move, not being able to do anything, not being able to eat for a while. Then I remember the first food of solid foods, broccoli. Broccoli never tasted so good because I hadn't eaten solid foods. But when I did, I started to learn how to swallow, learn how to eat solid foods. So that journey was different, very different, because now, even 3 years later, it's a different kind of struggle. And I think we always have challenges and struggles. So fear is a challenge. It's a mindset. I always say mindset, goals, and habits. And how we show up with our mindset that when you look at your shoulders, let's just look at this shoulder is your fear shoulder. This one's your faith shoulder. Which one you feed grows. So if your mindset is always living in a fearful mindset, it's going to grow. And anything that grows is going to take traction. So if the growth of fear takes on your mindset, it begins to expand. Now you're fearful on bigger things and you keep feeding the fear, it's going to keep growing. Let's look at the other shoulder. The other shoulder is faith. And I put faith and courage in a similar context. But let's go with faith. If that fear and you step out on faith for the first time, it may be just a little step. Like if you're stuck, and I was stuck for years in a dyslexic ADD mindset, get overwhelmed, get frozen. look at a computer all day long and not being able to move. Movement is medicine. Gotta move. Gotta move. And in your fear mindset, if you don't move to feed the faith, it's not going to grow. So growing your faith muscle takes action, takes stepping out, takes doing something, anything. Take action, activate the muscle of faith and courage. Because the more you step out on faith, the more you exercise that muscle, the courage muscle grows too. So you get 2 for 1. You get stronger faith and you get a stronger courage muscle. And when you look at courage, you don't wake up courageous. You do things on a regular basis that feeds that. People think that muscle is strong. No, it's strong as you want it to be. Strong as you want to put yourself in a position to step out on faith, see the results, grow the faith, grow the courage. Then, when opportunity knocks, you're not blinking. I had a friend, she was telling a story last week at Rotary about her son. Her son was part of, and she always had coached him from 3 years old to I think he's 19 or 20, to always have that song in your back pocket. Always be ready. Be ready. Because when opportunity knocks, you flinch, you fumble. You fumble, you don't score. So he's in some type of concert with a group that he's followed for years and years. And I don't even know the name of the group, but it's big for the younger people. So they asked for people to come up and just sing, and he volunteered. So here's a good lesson. Could fear at that moment captured his mindset? Yes, absolutely could have. He could have said, I'm not good enough. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I embarrass myself? That could have been his mindset, but it wasn't. Because his mom had been preparing him. His mom runs a successful moving company, Charlie's Angels. She has been preparing him for that moment. So when that moment came, he didn't let fear stop him from taking that step. Stepping out on faith. Did he know where it was going to go? No, absolutely didn't. But that moment, he exercised his faith and courage muscle. When he did, they got a chance to, I think it was another person that he knew, and they, for 2 minutes, put their song together because he had a song in his back pocket, as his mom said, always ready. So he didn't let the fear stop him from being on that stage. So when it came, that moment came, he looked at fear and he looked at faith and courage, and he decided to go with the faith and courage. Stepped out on faith and slam dunked it. He had the song in his back pocket, knew what he was going to sing. Wasn't like, whoa, wonder what I'm going to sing. No, you have to be ready. You have to be ready at that moment. Sings the song, brings down a contract. Next week, he's on Fifth Avenue, billboard. Person saw him, connected him, did a deal, and now 1 week he's wondering. Next week he's on Times Square. The lesson? He could have let fear hold him back. That never would have happened. Stepped out on faith, didn't care if somebody would think he looked ridiculous or he sung the wrong song, whatever. He stood out on faith. Faith and courage. He worked that muscle that day. But he had been preparing for years and years and years. He auditioned when he was 14 for American Idol. Because he was so young, they asked him to come back. When he did come back, his life had changed so much that wasn't the direction he wanted to go in. But he was constantly stepping out on faith, building his courage muscle. His mom was working with him, coaching him, mentoring him, being a mom, but just preparing him because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So if you're out there and you're a parent, remember your kids are watching. They're listening and they're watching you. So always be aligned with what you're saying. Do it because they see that. Inconsistency creates a mess. If you say something and do something else, you're not aligned with it. So when you look at, and I want to be able to go back to a couple things here, because today is the greatest opportunity of our lifetime. No matter how old you are or how young you are, it's the greatest opportunity. We have 6 major trends happening. The digital revolution, the entrepreneurial revolution, the crypto revolution, the AI revolution, the mobile revolution, and the personal development revolution. All these are happening now. And if you're not intentionally growing in your faith, in your courage, you're not going to be taking advantage of all this. You're not going to take advantage of the winds that could be behind you. I had a person, I asked him twice to be on our live event, speak. First time, can't do it, I got a conflict, something like that. I said, okay, everybody, it was about a week out or something like that. So it's understandable. Second time, another excuse. I don't know. Why? What's going on? Got a wedding, 3:00. The event's 10:00. How many hours does it take you to fix your hair? This guy's a guy. And that's not a big deal for guys. But he was scared. And I said to him, you'll be back by 11:30, 12:00. You got 2 hours to fix your hair. But he didn't do it. He let fear consume him. He chose fear over faith and courage. He fumbled. He dropped the ball. And no telling what could have happened. And that's why I want you to think yourself. The magic is in you and anything is possible. But it takes action. So when you look at yourself, I love journaling because it gets this stuff on paper. I journal every single day, usually 2 and 3 times during the day, because it gets the thoughts out, gives me clarity. I always process the day before. So I'll write what I learned, person on my podcast, what they said, just the feedback I get when I'm talking to people, just general things, but getting it out of here. We consume something like 6 1,000 marketing messages a day. And these people are good. You look at your social scrolling and you wonder why you waste hours consuming other people's lives, because they're good at keeping you there. Facebook only makes money if you're on their platform, if they have eyeballs on their advertisers. Instagram only makes money if you're on there and you're spending time and you're seeing their ads. TikTok only makes money if they're advertising, if you're getting results, if you're on there for a length of time. The more you're on there, the more they make. And they're good at getting your attention. So the average person spends over 2 hours of scrolling. Scrolling doesn't mean that you're thinking. You're passively scrolling other people's lives. There's nothing wrong with social media, but it depends on your intention. If your intention is to engage, to add some value to the platform, to do something in that regard, that could be good. But if it's just to scroll other people's lives, that's like sitting in front of a TV passively, hours on end. The average person watches 4 hours of TV a day. You take 4 plus 2 scrolling hours of social media. Let's give that 6. You're awake for 18. Let's say you sleep for 8, and you should sleep, because if you're not getting the proper rest, you can get fatigue, mental fatigue and physical fatigue. When we get fatigue in our life, we're sloppy. We make mistakes. We choose paths we would normally choose, like an addiction of some sort. I've often heard, just vegging out in front of the TV because we're tired, we're fatigued, because we didn't prioritize our day. When I get up, didn't always do this, but I always got up early. I think, I journal, I plan, and I implement. I think, I journal, I plan, and I implement. And when you look at that, when you think, amazing things happen. AI is happening fast. And if you're not leaning into it and learning how you can use it, you'll be left behind, because there's going to be a time very, 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 very soon that if you're not implementing in your business, your competition is, they're going to blow by you like you're standing still. Then you're going to wonder what happened, because you're too busy being busy. The busy bus is distractions and busyness. You can work hard, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the courage muscle, the faith muscle. You're not going to get that purposeful living that we talk about, journaling on purpose. Let me see. There. Oh, here. It's weird. Okay. You know what I mean. You can see it. So journaling on purpose is just that. You're doing it not just to write, it's to think. It's to get your thoughts out, to get clarity. We provide high performance coaching, which talks about focusing on your focal points, being focused, clarity, energy. Because if you have clarity, you're making better choices, so you're not getting fatigued. Passion is energy. And if you're not showing up with that passion and energy, then you're not getting the most out of your day. But more importantly, you can fall into that fatigue category because you haven't prioritized your day. You didn't start out on purpose. We talk about Growth Day. Here, I want to give you something here. Growth Day sponsors us. I mean, well, kind of, sort of. Okay. I've been involved with Growth Day for 10 months, and I know Brendon Burchard. I lost track 10 years ago when I saw him at a event in San Francisco. I think it was Experts Academy. But I lost touch, just different people out there. For whatever reason, didn't cross paths until I was listening to him on an Ed Mylett podcast. Two of the most influential coaches in the world. And they were given that award by, I think, USA Today. So anyway, he mentions Growth Day. I went, oh, wow, community. I went, dang, what is that? Community? Growing? So I looked it up and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the value that I got. We'd have a thing called Five to Thrive. Brendon Burchard, who charges $1 million to his clients. He's been doing it for 20 plus years. He deserves it and he gets it. Well, he certified us, a handful of people, to deliver his framework. It's a 12-week framework. And it starts with your focal points, getting your mindset right. Then it's clarity, energy. And when you go to clarity, energy, the next is that you have productivity, you have influence. And when you have this and you're working on the high performance habits, let me make that, I missed one, energy, courage. Yeah. Courage. So it is focal points, clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Those five, I said six, but five are in High Performance, his best-selling book. And that's absolutely the core of who you can be. That's the foundation of you. If you can get that clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence, you work on those five. That's the main ones. And then you master them in the second part of the coaching. Because what we do is we coach you through a 12-week transformation. Because it's not, you don't wake up one day and think you need high performance coaching. Some people might, but they don't really know the essence of it. But if a gentleman is charging $1 million to coach, and the framework is the same framework he certifies us, there's some value there. That's why we want to put you through a strategy session, because you got to know where you're going. You got to have a strategy. If you don't, in this day and age, with all these trends happening, and you don't have a strategy, you wake up and you just kind of go through the day, however the day throws you, you're going to be spinning your wheels, because when all these things kick in full throttle, and we finally got leadership, whether you agree or not, it don't matter. We got leadership. We got things going on. We got somebody that can answer questions, that can show up and not go on vacation 45% of the time. Who on earth goes on vacation 45% of the time? Only Biden did. And it was, you could see it. Actions speak louder than words. Now you're seeing a country with leadership. Is there a lot of people resisting? Absolutely. When you're breaking up control and corruption and greed, and the largest employer in the country is the government, there's something wrong. 2.4 million people work for the government. 96% of the people voted one way in the last election. That's a little bit tilted towards a ideology and a mindset. We got to shift that because Walmart's the second biggest employer at 1.6. Amazon's 1.4. Private sector delivers value. Government does not. They just take tax money from you. And that's got to change. Because if it doesn't, the country's bankrupt. Bankrupt. You can't keep spending money in the areas that we're seeing the biggest corruption ever. That's why there's so much resistance. Action speaks louder than words. Let's get back to you and you. Because thinking, journaling, planning, and implementing will give you clarity, will give you energy, because you're not wasting your time in front of a TV. Get the proper sleep so you're not mentally fatigued. So when those opportunities come up, like with Charlie's son, he's ready to go through that door. He's ready. He has that song in his back pocket and he performs. And the next thing you know, he's in Times Square on a billboard. That can be your life, because if you fumble, you can't score if you fumble. And we want you to take that ball in the end zone. A lot of us can get it to the 20-yard line without any coaching. But the high performers in life, whatever they're in, they all hire coaches, high performance coaches. Look at Michael Jordan. He was a proficient, gifted player coming out of college. Goes a couple years, Chicago, scoring a lot of points. No championships. Then a high-performance coach comes in named Phil Jackson. What does Phil do? Starts putting in his system. Gets buy-in from the team. Starts trading. Starts getting people to build around Michael. The Scottie Pippens, the Steve Kerrs, the Bill Cartwrights, the Dennis Rodmans. All of these are coming in to be part of a team that went on to win 5 national NBA titles. So Michael was scoring a lot. He was in the red zone, so to speak, but he wasn't scoring championships until a high performance coach came in. And when you have a high performance coach, and let me just be able to get to this, when you have a high performance coach, and I'm going to open it up here, there we go, that performs 1 week, 1 hour, talks about your high performance focal points that are going to be coming up in the course. Then 1 week, you're talking clarity, giving you better clarity, better energy strategies, work your courage muscle, become more productive, gain more influence. Then you get into the second half of the coaching where you're talking about physiology. Physiology. That's your physical energy, mastering that. Then psychology, mastering this. Then productivity, mastering productivity, because the more you're having PDAs, DPA, daily productive action. You're having more of those, you're going to get more done. You're going to prioritize better. You're going to be better. And then persuasion. If you can't persuade, you don't have anything. You got to learn how to do that. That's selling. That's persuading people to follow you. That's a skill that's learned. And then you're living on purpose, not just ultimate purpose, but each day you have a purpose. Show up at that meeting with purpose. meet that person with purpose, and starting to grow that purpose muscle. Then the final one is that commitment to a high performance mindset. That's possible. You can change through high performance coaching. And if you go to petekane.me/SS, you can book a strategy session. That strategy session is one of the best things you'll ever take because it's going to be on you, your goals, your dreams, your strategies, what you've been doing, what hasn't worked, and how you can implement a high performance mindset. When you do that, you get high performance results. So when we get back, when we talk about fear versus faith, which muscle do you want to grow? We all have it because we were born with a certain fear. I think the fear of fall, there's like the fear, I think the only fear that we're born with is fear of falling. But if we go back hundreds of years, the fear for survival, there's certain fears that have part of our nature. But what we're looking to do is grow that faith and courage muscle. So it's through actions, it's through doing something. You might be thinking, I don't know if this is the right time for me to book a strategy session. What if it doesn't work? That could be your fear muscle. What if it does? What if it launches you like Dane and you're on Times Square? 1 week, no billboard. Next week, you're on. 1 week, you're in the red zone. Next week, you're in the end zone. Where do you want to be? Red zone or end zone? Not on a billboard or just dreaming about being on one? Writing a book or thinking about writing a book? Because if you thinking about writing a book, you have no book until you write it. If you wanted to write a book, now we talk about an authoritative book because you gotta have an authoritative book, because I think, let's go right to this one here. If you're going to be a key person of influence, which you should strive for, but here's the philosophy behind this. It's called 7-11-4. 7-11-4. Remember this number because it's probably the most important number you'll ever digest, think, get. 7 means 7 hours. 11 means 11 buying signals, and 4 is 4 different platforms. If you can't learn how to pitch, build your profile online, have a product, make a better presentation, and let me see if I can get this on. Form partnerships, collaboration. You're not going to get the most. You won't be on that billboard, Times Square, because you have an opportunity to write a book that's not a novel. This is a book that people are going to want to know more. And when they want to know more, they're getting closer. Let's say it takes 2 hours to read this book. That's 2 of the 7. So you got 5 more hours. I listened to a podcast. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, yes, I do. Okay, here we go. 7 hours. This is by Robin Dunbar. Robin said that basically we've shifted to a digital world. No, not basically, we have. So know, like, and trust is different now. People have to consume 7 hours of you to start the know, like, and trust journey. If they get that 7 hours, they're closer to know, like, and trusting you. And so that book that we talked about, if it takes 2 hours to read the book, that's 2 of the 7. Podcasts, you maybe listen to 4 or 5 podcasts in another couple hours. I download the assessment. I take a workshop. I do a webinar. I just consume 7 hours. So I'm knowing, liking, and trusting if the person is the right fit, because you're looking for your ideal prospect. So you have to feed whatever business you're in has to solve a problem, or you're not going to be in business long. So when you do that, you're also going to make 11 buying signals, 11 interactions. It's called the 0 moment of truth, and Google made this famous because people buy from people. They don't buy from companies. And that's what, if you could take that home with you, that people buy from people, and you look at, let me see if I can, nope, let me go back. The 4 platforms, people buy from people. That's why we want you to come on our podcast. Jump on our podcast, not jump on it, but fill out an assessment. That's a buying signal. I'm interested in knowing more about podcasting. I would love my story featured. It's a digital asset. So you win by your story being shared, because people remember stories. People buy from people. People buy from people. When we talked about here being a key person of influence, you want to be on this magazine. That's a 12-week transformation where we help you build your key strategic team. These are people that you know, like, and trust, that you've done business with and are going to do business with, that you can bring to the presentation of your ideal prospect. When you do that and you hand them a magazine and the stories are in there of your team, you become more valuable. And when you become more valuable and you solve the problem, and that person sees you as not only one person, but a whole team, you're gaining more business. You're gaining more clients. And when you do that, you're handing these magazines out to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. And when they see your team, there's more of a trust factor that starts to build. So each person in the magazine can be given those magazines out, because everybody wants to be on the cover. That's a key person of influence. And then in there is your team, your key strategic team. And when you have and these are people you know, like, and trust, because if I meet you and I know you have a team of people to bring to solve my whatever problem I have, man, you are like, I'm going to welcome you with open arms, because I want to solve my problem as quickly as possible. I don't want to look for all these people. If you've vented them, maybe it's just vent and verify, because the stories are in there, their podcasts are in there. You can read about them. You can figure out, when do I need this person? And you are able to know the person on the cover, know that that's a trustworthy person that you're doing business with. The others are part of his team or her team. That's where you gain the value, and that's where you gain courage and faith, because it's no fun failing out there, but you fail and learn. 50% of marketing works and 50% doesn't. Put it where it works. Put it where your relationships are been built, and leverage it intentionally. So you can go to petekane.me/magazine. And if you want to be on the cover and you want to start the journey, and we want to build around you, your key strategic partner, put your magazine together, and you want to take that leadership on that journey, well, it's a 12-week transformation where we work with everybody in your magazine and we coach you on high performance. So each week you have a different focus, but we're focusing on building that community, collaborating, working together. It's kind of like your mastermind team that you're going to tackle the community with. You're going to add value to the community by being a team of trusted people that people can get to know. Everybody could get to know your other players, your other team members, your other key strategic partners through their podcast. It starts with a podcast. So if you go to petekane.me no backslash, just go to petekane.me, take a short assessment, be a guest on our podcast. Let us feature you. Let us put the spotlight on you and your story. Create a digital asset. Allow us to connect you up in our community with people that you need to know, and help us grow your business beyond what you ever dreamed of. Remember, you could be thinking right now, it doesn't work. Well, that's the fear muscle. Maybe it's like, man, it makes sense. I do want to be on the cover. I do want to build around my key strategic trusted partners. I do want to be part of a community that talks about being bold, making an impact, and having fun. We have fun. We actually, now I'm going to give you petekane.me/connect. We connect. We do live events once a month. Next one's the 22nd. We do a virtual event on the first and third Friday. We're 10 speakers, 5 minutes, 3 points. Our live events is the same. 10 speakers, 5 minutes, 3 points. So we're always teaching, we're always coaching, we're always pouring impact into our community. So you know you have a predictable path. And the path is going to be, let me see if I can go back to, the path is this. We got to work on your pitch. We got to build your profile. We got to get you a digital product. We got to help you with a presentation. How do you present yourself through the magazine, through a problem that you solve, and then the partnerships come from people in your inner circle and people outside. You always keep growing, always keep growing. So let me see if I can go to an area where I want you to see if I can go to, I was going to go into key strategic partners, but yeah, I think I can here. I want to show you this because it's so important to understand. There it is. Okay. So this is the relationship wheel. When you look at yourself in the middle, remember, people buy from people. So you're building your teams intentionally, strategically. And this is part of your magazine. So you want to surround yourself with people that you know, like, and trust. And when you know, like, and trust them, let me see if I can, here. Let me see here. I'm trying to, okay, there we go. Here we go. You put your categories down, 12 categories. These are the categories you're most relevant to your business. Who do you know that you like and trust that you can build around? You have 3 columns. First is like your crawl, your gold, whatever you want to say. Those are people you've been doing business with for years that you can just kind of intentionally put them together. And then in that same category, you have another we call the walk, and then the run. The run, once you complete your 36, this is your billboard on Times Square. This is where you're going to be printing money. This is where you're going to be having so much business, you're going to have a hard time keeping up. But you got to create the systems, the processes, the flow, the for your business to grow, because you want to grow by 10x. If you do, you're creating better systems, better processes. If you just want to grow a little bit, that's slower than 10x, and there's even a book on it. So you reach out, engage with people to invite them on your podcast. We put that together. All that's done for you, but what you have to bring is courage, because being on the cover is courageous, is getting out on faith. And when you do that, Times Square billboard is around the corner. The end zone is where you start playing. When you play in the end zone, you score. And you want to score in life. So join our magazine cover. You can go to pk.me/magazine and you can sign up. Once you take that leap of faith, once you take that action, you're building that courage. Do we know what tomorrow is going to bring? Not necessarily. We don't. We don't even know if we're going to be alive. I'm thankful I am. But I live every single day like it's the last, because one of these days I'm going to be right. But until then, I'm going to give the best I could possibly give. Have fun, be bold, and make an impact. And you can too. And I want to give you a gift because you've been around. Oh man, I got one person. So thank you. I don't even know who it is. Thank you for listening so much. Okay. Let me give you a gift. Go to pk.me. This is our ecosystem, our masterclass, and /masterclass. That is our system of high performance growth, 10x growth. So you do that, you can see again the direction we're going in with you. You are the magic, and anything is possible. You are the magic, anything's possible. And remember that we buy from people. We always buy from people. Not always. We have in the last few years because social media connects us with people. And you think about, look at the character, not the character. Look at the people on this. I mean, you can say they're characters. I don't know. But Elon Musk got a bunch of companies, but you know him. Tim Cook got, Apple, but you know the personality. You knew Steve Jobs before he passed away. Brendan Bouchard got all kinds of companies, but you know Brendan. Joe Rogan, bunch of things, but you know Joe Rogan. Oprah, bunch of companies, but you know Oprah. People buy from people. People buy from people. So if you're a company out there and you're promoting aggressively your company, we just don't connect with companies. Social media is emotional engagement, connection. We only do it with people. So if you would like to get a strategy session with us, go to pk.me/SS strategy session. If you'd like to take action with personal development and try the 5 to Thrive for 7 days in that learning library, be able to journal, be able to score yourself, be able to have access to the best that you can find out there. Hang around the best and you're going to get better. And you keep getting better every single day. And when you keep getting better every single day, the end result starts to look better and better. And you start celebrating more in the end zone. You start celebrating because you're winning. Ain't nothing wrong with winning, but it's hard. It's hard because that fear muscle wants to grow. But it's not until you do faith and courage, crush that fear, grow faith and courage. So, okay, I've got to teach today at the local high school. Love it, love it, love it. And that's so cool because our youth is our future. So be bold, make a difference, and have fun. Be bold, make a difference, and have fun. And if we can serve you and we can connect you, and you want to be a guest on our podcast and we want to share your story with our community, go to pk.me. So